Underwear.
Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today's June 26th, Friday. And Howard
I've
just
been
on
a day
the...
off. I've been once a day off, so we're doing the show Friday.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't tell anybody. This is not a habit. What is we doing this 3 years? It's the first time we're doing it on a Friday.
Why not?
Why the heck not? Okay, I haven't lighted up. Oh, and by the way, my friend, people are starting to send me stuff. Jambies. These are underwear that have pockets in them, so you can just kind of live in the COVID world.
Never
So,
heard of them.
that's the point. People are sending me stuff because I'm famous and they want me to try it and shout them out.
Exactly, it totally makes sense. You like Dave Portnoy, right?
I'm like Dave Portnoy, except I can't move the needle like Dave Portnoy. Are you watching any of his stuff? Do you like it?
No, I don't. I don't.
Arian find it funny?
I watch some of the clips that people post on Twitter, and he's entertaining for sure.
Okay, well, I think I mean, if he's got the Bulgarians one over, I mean, I don't like where he's going with it right now with the fucking penny stocks and the arguing all the time.
Yeah, I'm not paying close attention, so I don't know. I only watch the occasional clip. So anyway, so interesting thing going on in the market right now. A little pullback this week. Think nothing too bad. It's to be expected with the end of quarter coming up. We'll see some rebalancing and some profit taking. Since we had huge April and May, and June so far looks like a huge bearish inverted candle. But as I said, the indices
are not over yet. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, 2 more days. But either way, I think while the indices are consolidating in a range, I wouldn't be surprised if the Nasdaq 100 just spends the summer, between 230 and 250, just consolidating the recent gains. There's still a lot of positive action under the surface. I like to say that the market is forward-looking, and we talked about it on last Momentum Monday, that how the market was pricing in a potential second wave, a potential new reality where COVID will stay with us a lot longer and will impact our lives longer than expected. And as you can see, record cases in Texas, in many other states, and all of those.
Ben Hunt calls it endemic at this point, meaning we're going to be living with it. If you look at the Jets, I think you just followed the money in Jets and hospitality companies, and there you go. You're basically, you can call it 50% up from the lows, but I mean, that's nothing, right? Like you had the hope and dreams of June. We are now entering July. The airports are a complete ghost town. And that's not just because of COVID. I mean, just habits are changing. It's not just because, people are getting comfortable in a routine. And if we look at maybe some of the hotel stocks,
let's see.
There's an index that covers, but Hilton.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look amazing.
No, look at SPG, which and Boeing. These stocks had they suck people in with that fast rally. I mean, Simon Properties is, the next move looks much lower, like a resumption of the bear market. And so there is a nasty bear market. That was a great bear market rally in old economy. Where are the trannies at? IYT. Yeah, man. I mean, go back and look at a weekly of these. I mean, I haven't taken an Uber in 4 months.
Is Uber even in that index?
No, but you know what I mean. Like Uber is a modern transportation company, and
Uber, because of Uber Eats, has been looking.
I understand. So I'm saying even okay.
Breaking down.
Go back to the trannies. I mean, we are sitting underneath years of support, years and years. Well below now. for 2014 prices. This is not good action in a certain part of the economy. This is just a digital economy versus an old economy.
Yes, the old economy definitely looking vulnerable.
The question is, does the old economy finally drag down? Don't know. Next week will be interesting, end of month action. Summer doldrums. People are resigned to not traveling. Listen, I'm in a resort summer town that relies on summer. The weather's the same as always, perfect. San Diego, the beaches are empty here, relatively. The airports are empty. The restaurants are shutting. I wrote about it in my blog post. It's like the peekaboo opening, where a lot of companies, a lot of restaurants, stuck with it, and then they opened to no fanfare, and now they're shutting for good. That is traumatic, and so it's just heavy. What remains light, Ivan, is the DocuSigns, the Spotifys.
All the software stocks are just looking incredible.
Yeah,
just
and so I can't
go up. Yeah,
they're not offering good entries. I would say the only entry that in my portfolio that looked, DocuSign, that's a breakaway gap. Twilio is the one that looked the most interesting that I would add to, because it's Splunk looks great, dude. Jesus. So money is just not coming out of the market. It's just continuing to flow into. It's rotating. How did the biotechs hold up this week?
After they went up like 2% for 4 days in a row, so it's normal to see some form of a pullback. But
and the index is hiding the small caps. If we look at like INO, the thing that like is Robinhood and Kramer are all over INO.
Yeah, absolutely. All the virus-related stocks were.
NVA, I've never seen anything like this. NVAX. I haven't traded. Have you VX? Look at NVAX.
Yeah, all the VAXs, the DVAX, the NVAX.
Why? What's VAX? Is VAX is like the handle of all of these?
You just need to add VAX at the end of your stock symbol, and
Mm-hmm. So interesting. These APIs are working. I think a great ticker symbol today is IPO that people are going to want on their screens. The ticker is it's API. Sorry, is Agora, which is kind of like a very modern, not a very modern. It's another type of Twilio. This is for video and chat products. They went public today. This is going to be. I don't know if it was a reverse merger, so I'm doing work on that. But in this Twilio space, the connecting tissue of marketing meets sales, meets communication, meets enterprise, meets consumer. You can see it in the Twilio, like it's growing faster than ever. So API, which is another version of it.
Interesting. Only 5 billion market cap, your Twilio 31. So.
Yeah. No. Agora is very interesting. So I'm trying to dig up some more. Didn't know it was going public that fast, but I'm hearing it in a lot of startup conversations. So you can see, people are just moving their businesses online. It's not going to be easy for at least 60% of the economy, but this is, accelerating this trend towards digital, which has to happen. And you can just see it in the SPY. It's very heavy. Yeah, it's just a couple more bad days, and man, it wouldn't take but 2 days for people to freak out. And so I think much better to wait and see. And you see Goldman just giving it all back up,
Testing 295. I think it's very possible next week.
Not possible. The down days are so big that you could just break 295 on a gap. So
definitely the 3 distribution days for the past week and a half. So definitely something to pay attention to, that even 4 for the past 2 weeks. So the distribution days are increasing, but obviously.
And I look at McDonald's and I'm like, okay, like I know Domino's and Chipotle's are doing well, but there's no reason McDonald's can't get a leg about giving up. I gave up on my Nike. I'm like, why do I need to own Nike in a world of digital stocks?
Yeah. True. I just wanted to take a quick look at the McDonald's of South America, and it just doesn't look incredible.
Well, South America's a mess. Only digital in South America is working. But if you look at Nike, kind of like had the argument of like, what am I doing? Like, I love Nike, but like in a world that I should be grateful I got this bounce back, and I kind of just gave up. I'll revisit in the 60s, or I'll revisit when the world changes with the vaccine. I think Lulu could see an air pocket down to 200 very quickly. I mean, how are they different than Nike? It's just not any better with the stores not opening. So I don't own it anymore, Lulu, but like I get worried that could see a vicious gap down. So there's some air underneath some of these winners, and I think you're going to have to be it's getting crowded in a narrow group of digital leaders. So I think people need to be, there's some false positives potential out there right now because there's about 50 great digital stocks that are just cranking.
Are you bearish in general, or you're just cautious?
I think I'm just cautious. I've been. There's no reason for me to be bearish. The news is the news, right? We're seeing it every day. We don't have leadership. We're living with this COVID. We know with our eyes and ears that the economy is not opening. It's kind of like a fake opening.
Mm-hmm.
It's hit close to home. My accountant went bowling for whatever reason. He's got COVID. I don't recommend anybody go bowling. I don't get it. I've carefully gone to a few restaurants that I trust, that I know are being extra careful, but it's risky and probably not smart. But I am staying, I'm just being really careful about, who we interact with. And I just don't think that's good for the economy, just the general economy. I still can't believe I haven't taken an Uber in 4 months. I lived on Uber.
I mean, obviously everything you say is correct, but it's kind of obvious as well because everyone knows it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not bearish, is because I'm not saying, if there's something on page 10 that I don't know, that I'm worried about, but
let's not forget that the government is just sitting and waiting and probably ready with another stimulus package, and they can introduce 3 things.
That helps the stock market. That's not going to go in. This second one won't go into hotels and speculation. It'll be much quicker speculation. You'll get flashes more than sustained rallies, because people won't trust it this time around. This close to that other stimulus, I just think people will just start. I think that's dangerous to just lean on that. I think the excitement that they acted meant something, right?
That's the only thing the books have right now. I mean, obviously the next coming earnings season, which starts in 2 weeks, it's probably going to be, horrific.
I think it's going to be a mess. I mean, if you look at Nike, let's go look at Disney, for example. I mean, how do you own that? I don't know. I had given up on that, and around this prices on the way up, it did get to 130-ish, but the morale, the leading a huge company via Zoom for 4 months now, it's obvious we're going to head into the fall with this, is I think the reality and the grind of it. And people have to start thinking, do I repurpose my home or do I change my home? So there's certain segments of the economy will just keep going, right? I look at Redfin and Zillow, and I don't think they'll ever see those lows again.
Who knows? I mean, Zillow is a completely different.
Redfin and Zillow are people got scared, and there's a new playbook, and I don't think there's certain stocks that probably hit bottom in March, but I think you could see some new lows in the airlines and hospitality stocks and certain restaurant stocks. So I think it's not going to be as easy if COVID drags on, and I don't see how it doesn't drag on. And the digital stocks are acting like it's a foregone conclusion that COVID is here for 2 more years, There's no fear in these digital stocks, meaning,
valuation there is just incredible. We just stopped looking at valuation at some point, just because they just keep going higher and no one is really looking at valuation. And the other day, I looked at Warren Buffett's favorite indicator, market capitalization over US GDP. And it was like a new all-time high. I mean, a level that is 30-40% above the 2000 level. And it means nothing, of course, in this market. Obviously, in a digital economy, we have to give higher valuation.
Digital economy, Fed printing, low interest rates, creative management, tax benefits of software accounting, instead of buying assets, the way software companies hide things for depreciation. Tax law would be, if the someone's going to pay. It'll probably, I think what people don't understand when they hide out in these software stocks is that it was a great trade. You did great. Doesn't mean it can continue. Government's going to be coming for those margins at some point, because that's the only people that will be able to pay taxes. And so at some point, they change the tax law and the way people can account for employees and the way they're giving out options. You can see a 30% wipe out on those stocks overnight, just on fears, because the government's got to get paid. The banks are shrinking, so they can't keep paying. And it's really going to be the FANG stocks and that's the first, and the cloud companies that are going to be paying, because they got to get paid. The government's going to have to start collecting revenue.
Are you?
And then you have taxes in July, Ivan. So it's like,
I know. Yeah.
So there could really be a nasty July, right? As people, want to be outside. It was all cool to push off taxes until July.
Yeah.
And now the reality is, do they do another tax holiday? Again, like, I'm not saying they won't, but it may not get the market enthusiasm that people got. So based on price action, it's hard for me to be bearish. Based on, street level commerce, it's pretty easy to be bearish. So I'm trying to just stay neutral.
Are you still bullish on gold?
Yeah. Look at gold. I'm bullish on Bitcoin and gold. Like it's an asset that I'm more bullish on Bitcoin just because of the supply issue. And then what am I going to make in silver? 30 to 50%. I made that in Spotify in a week. So I'm not like used to trading vehicles that have no cash flow. And so they just don't excite me. And I don't think Bitcoin trades on any kind of technicals because of the liquidity issue. So I think, you own it and you can't trade it, and it could see 20,000 or 5,000, 5,000 in a washout again, but it could gap up for 4 or 5 days in a row and be at 20,000, in a crisis. So, it's not something that you can technically trade very well. You have to believe, kind of in a rare asset play. And I'd rather take the vol of Bitcoin than gold. What else are you seeing? Any swing ideas that you're seeing that are showing up?
So for next week, I'm kind of bullish on gold miners because I see so many of them setting up for potential breakouts on the long side.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, there are at least 20 or so software stocks that are still looking constructive, but I wouldn't really chase them for anything more than quick intraday trade, but they're still acting constructive, like this one.
Oh, wow, that looks great. So the K-Web, these are the Chinese ones?
This is a US one, I think.
Oh, what does TU do? Huh. That's a
kind of setting up here.
Yeah, I guess this would be this is interesting. Without even looking,
there's still
this is a bet on schools not opening. This would be a bet on schools not opening.
Software stocks that are looking constructively, and you can hide in them. And as I say, gold miners looking great. And then the indices, I will just be ready to play them on both sides. I think if the Nasdaq 100 just loses 240, 239, good chance it tests its 50 days. So you can just be short, and then I would just buy a potential bounce here near the 50-day. I'm not trading next week because I'm on vacation, but these are the moves that I would basically look at. Yeah.
Well deserved. I think without diving much deeper, it's been a great run for people that caught us on cloud and biotech. Don't be a pig. Try and enjoy the summer. I think people need to stay safe. And like you even taking some time off, it's just like, the market gave us a real good volatility down and up. And I don't think you want to be stuck playing catch up to the indexes right now. I think you have to take that off the table and just trade what's in front of you. And I think it's a mixed tape. I think the obvious trade is pretty obvious now to everybody. And the shorts seem obviously short the S&P. You know, it's record kind of hedgers. And that seems too obvious. And so I don't know. I think it's a good time to just go small. I look at Snap and I'm just like super bullish on that. I mean, there's going to be a super app in the United States, you know, and Facebook is just so big, and, you know, they lost contracts today. Twitter and Facebook are going to be the punching boys for brands, right? Because of social media. Snap with their ephemeral message. Like, I mean, Twitter is a goner, like absolute goner. They're going to be punished by the big brands now because budgets are going to be pulled. Will the small startups continue to use Twitter and Facebook for customer acquisition? Absolutely. But I think today's move by Verizon and Unilever proves that they are vulnerable to big ad pulls. Right, you know, it takes a lot to piss off Verizon. It's kind of an evil corporation in itself. So they're making a statement by pulling their Facebook ads. So I don't know. I think there's plenty of reasons to stay small. So we'll leave it with that unless you have other stuff to say.
Oh, no, that's all. Just enjoy the short trading week. It's only 4 days. And
Oh, what day is the holiday?
Friday.
Next Friday? What's next Friday?
July 3rd, just before.
Oh, July 4th weekend. All right, buddy. So we'll probably do a show next Sunday, though.
Yeah, next Sunday, yeah.
Okay, have a great week off or some time off.
Yeah.
And hit me when you get back. Everybody have a really safe weekend, and we'll see you on the 4th.
Yeah.
All right, take care.